Hello folks, and welcome back to Whiskey Wars. My name is Sean, and tonight we'll be reviewing E.H. Taylor's Small Batch. Let's get into it. Okay, here is our bottle for this evening. E.H. Taylor Small Batch. Now, of course, the man, E.H. Taylor, or Edmund Haynes Taylor Jr., who is a Kentucky colonel, as many folks were that were in the line of the today Buffalo Trace. Of course, it wasn't always Buffalo Trace. Actually, when E.H. Taylor Jr. bought the distillery that will become Buffalo Trace, it was actually the OFC distillery at the time. Another thing that Colonel E.H. Taylor is known for is really pushing for the Bottle in Bond Act, which was, of course, pushing for really quality in American whiskey and bourbon specifically. So that means that this bottle is Bottle in Bond, as many E.H. Taylor products are. In fact, most of them are, except for, of course, the barrel proof offerings. Now, though, let's get into this bottle specifically. Now, this is an older batch of E.H. Taylor, and as you can see, I've just about drank all of it. This bottle is about 2 years old. There's a new one sitting down there, but we'll, nonetheless. So just know that if maybe my tasting notes don't match up with your bottle, that could be why. This is a 2-year-old batch, but I do enjoy it very much, and I'm going to pour a whole lot because I'm about out. And I will say outright, I think the old batch, this batch here, is better than the new, so something to keep in mind, but we'll get into that more. So, let's get into this here. Let's get into first the nose. Get this thing spun around. Here we go. Man, that nose. This is one of my favorite noses of a $40-ish bottle. Lots of dark fruit notes and maybe some red fruits in there. So raspberry, blackberry, maybe some grape, and more like a grape jelly. All these are very sweet smelling. So even the raspberry is like a raspberry jelly, very jelly jam notes coming through. Nice caramel, brown sugar notes. Also a little pepper going on. Definitely like some vanilla, maybe some like vanilla cream, whipping cream going on there. Man, really, really nice notes. Lots of cinnamon coming through. Also, like a roasted date, one of my favorite notes that I always point out. I love the roasted date note. Let's see here. A little bit of like a tobacco note there. Really nice toasted oak note. There's also, that's the note I was trying to search for. There's also like this cherry Jolly Rancher kind of thing happening there. Anyway, enough time on the nose. So let's get to what matters. The sip. Here we go. How's it taste? That's just a good bourbon. If you follow the channel much at all, you know that in general, I think that most Buffalo Trace products are overhyped. Now, with the current market, that may still be true, but this is an actually very good bourbon. Everything that we picked up on the nose coming through on the palate. Nice viscosity for a $40 bourbon. Lots of red fruits coming through and dark fruit notes. So you got a really nice kind of grape jam note, that roasted date thing going on. Nice sweet cherry, and it's kind of a dark cherry. Not getting the sourness that you would get on a raspberry or blackberry, but some of those kind of more jam notes in there. Really nice brown sugar, and it's like a deep, rich brown sugar note. Really nice caramel note coming through. Also some nice charred oak notes and just nice oak notes in general. There's no sour oak. This does not taste young, at least this batch. So all in all, really nice first sip. Let's go ahead and get into a second sip here, mainly just because I want another one. But also we'll focus on the finish. Here we go. And that second sip almost got like an orange creamsicle thing going on, which I don't normally get on this, so that was kind of interesting. But all those other notes I mentioned earlier, those are still there, but also got kind of back of the palate going into the finish. You get this kind of burst of citrus, and then that toasted oak note, and kind of similar to the finish on like a Rowan's Creek. I would say this is more of, when I think of Rowan's Creek, it's more of a lighter citrus. This is more darker, almost like a toasted orange. Like if you ever do oranges on, say, seafood or other meats on the grill, and they kind of get roasted, toasted. It's kind of more like that citrus note rather than just fresh citrus fruit. Anyway, very nice notes. I gotta say, I did really enjoy this. I will say though that the finish is kind of short. So if there's a shortcoming to this, it's that. The finish is certainly on the shorter side, but I kind of find that to be true on a lot of Buffalo Trace. Well, this is not Buffalo Trace directly, but in that wheelhouse. So all in all, let's get to rating this thing though. I think a very good experience at $40-ish. And that's where we get into the problem. As any of you probably know, this bottle is usually not $40. In fact, it rarely is. Even at the distillery, I think it's now $43, $45, something like that. Now, at that price, I think it's still a good bourbon. I would certainly pay $45 for this, but unfortunately, that's probably not what most of us are getting it for. I'm happy to find this for $60. And even then, it starts getting into the price range where it's kind of like, should I be buying something else? And at $60, I think it's good, but not great. So if you can get it at, we're gonna go 2 scores here. If you can get it at 40 to 45, then I think it is like a 7 point, I'm gonna go 7.7. If you can get it for 40 to 45, great. If you're getting it for 60, then it drops a little bit for you. Then it's more like 6.5, because there's so much other good stuff then. So I'm gonna say 6.5 on this. Final score for me, because that's what I'm having to pay, and probably a lot of you are having to pay that price, if not more. So 6.5, a good one for sure, but good at the right price, and that's always the stipulation with Buffalo Trace stuff. Nonetheless, folks, I hope this has been helpful to you. I hope it helps you in your shopping. If it does, and you like this video, please hit the like button so YouTube knows you like the thing you're watching. And also, folks, here's more reviews of other great whiskeys, and here's the subscribe button, so do both those things. And until next time, folks, just remember, you can never have too much good whiskey.